A Fox News alert from Egypt now, where hundreds of thousands, millions of people are on the streets in Egypt. You're seeing live pictures in Cairo right now demanding President Morsi's resignation. The nation's top general set a deadline for President Morsi to end the standoff with opponents, or at least to engage them, before military leaders move forward with their own plan. What that is a big question. There is now less than 24 hours to go until that deadline. Our president, President Obama, is calling for calm on both sides.
What we've consistently insisted on is that all parties involved, whether it's members of Mr. Morsi's party or the opposition, that they remain peaceful.
Michael Mounier is a dual citizen of both Egypt and the United States. He's currently the head of Egypt's Al Hayat political party and one of the opposition leaders, and he's joining us live from Cairo. So, Michael, we're taking a look at the wide swath of crowds in the streets of Cairo, and we understand that people want an alternative to Morsi, but who is that alternative? Who would you like to see in power?
Well, I mean, we want to see Morsi go first, and I think I want to go back to what President Obama says. I think President Obama is making another mistake where he's delaying what he should be actually doing. He should be calling on President Morsi to respect the will of the people and to step down peacefully and to pull his supporters that have been trying to terrorize protesters, peaceful protesters from the streets, and to just yield to the will of the people. I mean, we've seen millions and millions of people since the 30th going on in the streets asking for his resignation. This is the only thing that at this stage anybody would accept. Nobody from the oppositions or the military or anywhere else can actually accept anything other than what those millions that went out on the streets and still on the streets as we speak are asking for.
But Michael,
so,
and if I
the alternatives are a lot. I mean, we are looking.
There's a little delay as well. I just want to jump in here because one of the things that our viewers are also hearing from people that say the president is making the right move is that Morsi was democratically elected by millions of people in the country as well. And so how do we support his resignation without knowing what is the future of Egypt and what that next government will stand for?
Well, Hitler was also democratically elected. I mean, the democracy is not just the ballot box. It's a process. And since the president took office, the first thing he did, he issued the constitutional decree appointing himself effectively king of Egypt. He had all the powers. He hired the general prosecutor that belongs to the Muslim Brotherhood. He started hiring ministers and cabinets belong to the Muslim Brotherhood. He even put a terrorist in a governor position. That guy had been already convicted of killing foreign tourists that came to Egypt. And he put him in one of the cities that actually thrives on tourism. So the president has failed. The fact that he's democratically elected does not mean that he did not make mistakes and he could not be removed by the people. That's the point. It's useless because Hitler was democratically elected.
Sure, and we understand, and your point's well taken. As we're witnessing this revolution from the outside looking in, one of the questions that still surfaces is what is the Egypt that is the next Egypt to become? What do you think the government, the true government of the people of Egypt, will stand for once this revolution, and it's anyone's best guess at when it ends or when it began and all of that, but what is the ideal Egypt of the future?
The ideal Egypt is an Egypt for all Egyptians, Islamists and non-Islamists alike, minorities, Christians, women. What Morsi did, and the reason everybody's on the street, he forced a constitution on everybody that no one liked. It's a constitution that is turning Egypt into an Islamic state. Majority of Egyptians are Muslims, and the majority of those Muslims do not like that constitution. So the best process and the first process to rebuild is to actually draft a new constitution. We can take a little bit of time to have a constitution that is worthy of this revolution. This great nation has put a lot of time and effort, everybody, in the past 2 years to make sure that we have a democracy, we have religious freedom, we have the respect of the law. None of this stuff was happening under this president.
Understood, and I just need a quick answer to this. Do you want to be president of Egypt?
Unfortunately, according to the Constitution, I can't because I'm also Christian. But we have many talented people that were excluded from the process by the older crowd, the 70 and 80-year-old guys that are still gripping power in Egypt and trying, whether it be on the opposition, by the way, or in the government. And what we want to see a second tier. We want to see people in their 40s leading this country. Egypt is a country that has stars all over the world. Any and most Egyptians that immigrated to the outside world have been extremely successful. There are two advisors of President Obama who are actually from an Egyptian origin. So
interesting.
What we want to do is want to make sure those people can come back to Egypt and can rebuild Egypt.
You have a very interesting story yourself, and we appreciate the time that you're taking to share that with us. It's interesting to note that you're not eligible to be president, and that's something we're going to want to learn more about. But Michael, we look forward to having you back. Thank you so much for the time today.